DC, son, nice to see you again.
Good to see you again, bro.
Time to do the big one here.
Yeah, Flash.
We're both doing the Elseworlds today. Flashpoint. We didn't even time this out. We didn't even talk about it.
No better way to do it.
We're on sync like that. So we're getting into Flash season 3. Sorry, I'm having a Barry moment right now. Yeah. Lots of new stuff going on.
Yeah, lots of new stuff, lots of new characters, storyline going in multiple directions or one big direction badly. No one knows.
That's a good question. Like we were just talking about this off camera, just Barry was very selfish. Very selfish last year.
After everything that he's been through, he turned around and went back and changed the timeline.
Yeah, very frustrating. Very Barry, what did you do? What have you done? I guess we're about to find out. Any particular predictions for this season or anything you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to finally the introduction of Wally West in costume as Kid Flash, Impulse, any iteration, I don't care. Possibly Jesse Quick with power.
Yeah, yes.
The crossovers that they'll be going throughout the season, I'm interested to see what storyline they're picking with. Especially since, Legends of Tomorrow is introducing the Justice Society. So, will they cross over with that or completely different timeline? Who knows? But because Barry does, tamper with timeline and things, it's a good crossover for the Flash.
True.
But all in all, I'm looking forward to seeing Barry just basically destroy everything that he's worked so hard for, and hopefully work on the road to redemption and fixing those things.
Yeah. And
by the end of the season.
Hopefully so. I've heard, though, that the whole Flashpoint thing isn't actually going to be too long. It's only going to be
not.
Few episodes, I've heard.
I hope not, mainly because the conversation we're having before with, Arrow and Flash, some of it lasted too long.
Yes, correct.
So it'd be nice if it's a few episodes. I'd say even half a season is fine. And then go into something completely fresh.
I think the main goal here, and I think right now that I started noticing that in season 2, is that Flash has a little bit of its sophomore fatigue, so to speak. That going in now to its 3rd season, there's certain things in order to keep. The first season for me, will always be really strong. It was very strong writing. It had me on the edge of my seat. Who is Harrison Wells? What the hell? There's a lot of stuff going on. Season 2 had its lackluster moments more than season 1, I felt. And I hope that in this 3rd season, they're able to not go on autopilot as much as I noticed with season 2.
Right.
I think there was a big problem with Zoom being introduced. Kind of maybe too early or so. I don't know.
For me, I'm not so much too early. His storyline took too long.
Yeah.
For him to be faster than the Flash, it was slow writing. It needed to end the story quickly and then move on.
Yeah.
It drug out.
Well, I felt there were really a lot of moments where you're like, yeah! And then it's kind of it's taking 2-3 more episodes. Come on. And I think the other thing that killed...
I feel like a Dragon Ball series.
Well, I think the other thing is, we tend to forget, is last year, the Flash had a lot of breaks. And it would be gone for 2 weeks, it would come back in for 1 week, and then be gone for 3 more weeks or so. So there were a lot of times where you were really getting into the Flash, it was oh God, here we go again, so.
Which is another great reason Zoom should have ended sooner.
Yeah, perhaps so. Or just some
more
sort of
time to shoot.
Some sort of cliffhanger or something like that. So, something like that. But.
And for those who may misunderstand, I didn't dislike Zoom. I actually liked the villain and liked what they did with him. I just felt that it could have either been stronger and there more prominently, or in the opposite direction, keep the strength how it was, but make it shorter, more compact, more condensed, and then move on to something else.
And Flash fans, before I forget, I gotta introduce you to the little... Oh shit, I think I broke it. Okay, it sounded like I broke it. We broke the chair earlier, but there you go. That's the plaque for 100,000 subscribers. I appreciate everything that you guys have done. In some sense, just like the CW, the Flash reactions are definitely the front runner here for this channel. So don't worry, the reactions to the The reactions to the Flash are going nowhere on this channel. We might be going into Flashpoint, but this will always stay the same. So I appreciate the support for all of you guys. Without further ado...
But one small pause. I'd like to say thank you for supporting Akasan. Please keep it up, keep it strong. Let your friends, family members know. It's got plenty of content out there for people to get interested in who haven't been watching. Hey, he got me into it, so doing something right.
And while I'm at it, make sure you guys go ahead and check out DC Sun's channel here.
Please,
some good stuff as well. Okay? Yeah. Without further ado, let us begin the beginning of Season 3, The Flash. Where's my remote? Yeah. So, new couch, new TV, no remote. We'll be back.
No? Is it there?
Here it is. Thank you, Dr. Wills. Cisco. I just turned off the TV.
And spoiler, I'll be snacking. Sorry.
It's dinner time. I don't know what I'm doing!
No, go back. You were actually just there. Go back to your main menu. Right there. Go back one. Yeah. There you go, and it's top right.
So, the only other thing that, what I've noticed in the previous reactions is, so the audio is closer. The camera's audio is closer to here. So we have to sometimes be louder than that audio in order for, so sometimes when you're talking, I can't do anything. The audio
is too high on the TV.
Right. Unless I turn it down. In the future, my plan is to try to get some sort of decent. I mean, maybe that might work.
And have mics here.
No, that would be great, but I don't like that. That's why I got that camera previously.
All right, gotcha.
But the quality's not so good. I have I use that condenser mic, but it only if the voice is right here, it's perfect. But then they can't see the face, so it's like a weird balance actually.
Oops.
In the future, maybe I might get these kind of mics instead to hold it. But sometimes I feel like it doesn't it's not as genuine anymore.
Or just getting if you do that, just get
mic stand mics. Yeah,
mic.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Get the small portable ones because then you can place it anywhere, save space, and it doesn't take up most of the screen.
I wonder if I should just run these speakers through here, so then we get the speakers like that.
You're good.
I wonder how the sound quality is on this.
Last season on The Flash,
I'd finally come to grips with her death. Finally at the place
and I finally turn around and change it all. Sorry.
For this episode, let's...
City's just fine. It's the people in it who need to be educated. And I have no rival!
Don't worry about it. We'll get him next time, Flash.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm just trying to absorb it.
I've seen you before, haven't I?
We actually went to elementary school together. You don't remember PS23?
Thanks again. I guess you're my hero today.
Glad I could be there for you.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess right now he doesn't.
Would you want to get a coffee? I mean, I know you're having a coffee right now. I meant
in the coffee shop.
At a different coffee. It doesn't have to be a coffee.
Barry Allen, you're very cute. You know that? Yeah, but you should try talking just a little bit slower.
Speed has always been my problem.
Okay. I'm gonna wait this one out.
What's up, Barry?
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh! It's Reverse Flash.
Or did you forget that? Too busy leading your reverse It's a Wonderful Life? Reverse, huh? That's irony for you. So, what should we call this brave new world that you've whipped up for us? I was thinking...
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint.
So you don't want this?
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
So far, so good though. So far, I'm liking this writing.
I'm
feel
sorry
sorry
about
for
that
Joe.
piece
Yeah.
with my dad
Oh, yeah.
earlier.
Don't worry about it. Just feel bad for him. And you.
God damn!
He barely
That
even knows.
shirt be any lower? I would
Feels
love to
like
beat
it.
a necklace on that, right?
Is that weird? Is that a weird thing to say?
No. No, I mean, strangely, I know what you mean. Where'd you come from, Barry Allen?
I've always been yours. What's going on?
The Flash and the Rival are going at it in the Werther building. Everyone needs to evacuate this area.
Why would they need to evacuate that area if they're going out of the...
Thought I had him.
Yeah, ask them really.
Wally? Who the hell are you? Base of operations, huh?
We shall find out.
Yeah. What were you expecting, a fortress?
Just something up. So, what I don't know is how you got your speed.
Oh, okay. So before I went on the straight and narrow, I used to drive illegal cars. I was messing around with a new nitro formula to get my engine revving faster. Then one night, I'm racing in a thunderstorm. My car gets struck by lightning. And it must have mixed with the formula because, boom, I was in a coma for 9 months. And then when I woke up, I was the fastest man alive. The Flash.
Really?
More like Kid Flash.
Don't call me that.
I call you that.
We need to stop the rival.
Yeah.
We're open to suggestions. I've been trying to run him down for months. No luck. He's fast. Maybe faster than me.
Well, if you're willing, I think maybe I could help.
Fastest man alive would have to be right.
There's only one man who can help us now.
Oh! Is there a better way to get
That would have been funny if it was Goldie.
Yes, so that capital N,
yeah.
little O. Got some business to attend to, so we'll get on that other matter later.
Ha!
What if I get on it first?
Oh.
Independent woman. And you leave me out of your brother-sister war on crime. That was the deal.
Okay, listen to me, Mr. Ramon. We need your help. Introducing the Rival on TV. She's terrorizing the city to...
I heard a story about how when you were 15, your brother Dante owed a bookie. He couldn't pay back what he owed, so you gave him all the money you earned that summer delivering pizzas to help him. We're teams.
He's lucky that that story still holds up in this Flashpoint.
Why isn't it happening to you?
Not sure. Unless...
The speed force.
So,
The dampening.
What?
Yeah.
What's the hell so funny? Your speed!
Yeah.
The you I know from the future, he's not this stupid. Pretty soon, you won't even remember. You have to take me back to that night and let me finish what I started.
Alright, Kylo, I knew it!
Now who's the villain, Flash? Now who's the villain?
It's actually his best performance so far.
Team.
Did you just kidnapped this woman?
Well, yeah, I guess she's a scientist. We need her.
I'm not a scientist.
You're not a scientist?
I'm an ophthalmologist.
An eye doctor.
A pediatric eye doctor.
And we're done.
That was pretty good.
Excuse me. Have I been kidnapped?
Unclear.
That was clever, that was
Sorry,
clever.
I know. That
We're something else to each other where you come from, aren't we?
yes.
What? Because this is what love feels like.
This is the day that I met you.
okay, just kiss.
Damn, she's hot.
Kiss.
We got something.
Fucking Cisco.
Did you see that Easter egg reel with the Ramon Industries? It looked just like the DC logo. That was clever.
Well, here's how scared I am of you.
I knew it! I knew it!
My name is Edward Claris. Rivals should know each other's names.
Eddie,
I mean, you might as well tell me since neither of you are leaving this place alive. Who are you?
Eddie.
That's Eddie?
That's Eddie, 100%. He just
On the Flash.
cut his hair.
That's all you need to know.
Well, after I rip that cowl off your corpse, I'll know who you are.
Huh.
Just another
How did you not
pretender.
recognize him?
I still can't see it.
What?
He knows.
And he feels powerless.
Yeah. Oh, that was cool. Hey.
That was cool.
That was cool. I like the new fight effect. Watch out.
Oh, shit.
Oh!
Wally!
But he let him
Proof in
heal.
the suit says he's still alive.
Barely.
Hey, you're gonna be okay, alright? You're gonna be okay. I'm gonna get you out of here. That one was never my rival. You can be, though. You wanna find out? Defeat me, and I'll let you take your little friend for help.
Because Barry doesn't have his full speed.
It's interesting. It's done in a very Arrow style way. Oh, Thunderbolt! Holy shit! Wow!
I'm the Flash.
Nice!
I love Iris. That's awesome. Go, Barry!
That's impossible.
No, that's Barry.
That's cool. Nice Superman punch.
Dugan!
Nice.
Nice!
That was pretty cool. Joe? Really?
He should be rapidly healing.
It's one of the gifts of being a speedster.
He's not. I'm sorry.
Speed Force is being sucked.
By Barry.
Am I free to go?
I'm free to go. I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure that's an
Having a
Easter
bad
egg
day,
to
babe?
Back to the Future. Marty McFly jacket.
Oh.
You know what I need you to do.
Yeah. But I want to hear you say it.
Damn.
I need you to kill my mother.
With pleasure.
I hate you.
And I hate you. And I sometimes wonder which of us is right.
See, there you go. There's your satisfaction.
Thank you, CW.
I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Candace and Green. Arigato.
You know what? I even think Marty McFly's girlfriend. Oh fuck. Marty McFly's girlfriend had the long coat like that too.
I get to be the hero.
Nice.
Everything's in reverse.
I guess you'll just have to wait and find out.
What? What does that mean?
See you sometime soon, Flash.
This is gonna suck.
Yeah, it is. I am feeling heartbroken right now.
Alright, is Eddie back?
Where's Iris?
That ain't funny. I'm gonna chalk that up to grief. I'll see you both in the morning.
What was that about?
Are you kidding me? You know Iris isn't here.
What?
They don't talk, Barry. You know that.
Oh God, what did I do?
You have your iPad with the pen, that thing you were doing the drawing with? I need to figure this shit out real quick. Well, that would, and so essentially Flashpoint is
An alternate. So
Yeah,
that,
alternate.
that basically ends up being down here.
right, as in the show, right? Okay. So, then he goes back again, or now Reverse Flash essentially goes back, and goes back to Mother's timeline, Fixed Point, and now all these timelines are gone, and this is the brand new one again.
Possibly.
Well, Iris isn't around. They don't. Minor things.
They're not right. There are minor changes.
It's a brand new timeline.
It's a brand new timeline, or it's the original timeline with a few tweaks. So, like,
are you saying the original season 1 timeline with a few tweaks?
Yeah.
Because like we said, some of it might have been like you were saying. One of the reasons they might not talk is because this is
her father's relationship with Eddie. And an issue that they may have, or that Eddie possibly passed, and she feels her father could have helped. Do something.
And for
this is speculation,
right? And for clarification, we were saying like at the time when the rival revealed himself, that wasn't Eddie then.
So the Eddie that was speaking of or thinking of, Thrawn.
Thrawn.
Thank you. His
name Thrawn.
Yeah, awesome name. So, anyways, that. But even then, with a difference.
Right.
So it's like, okay, let's see where this goes.
Wait. So who was this guy? Alchemy.
So alchemy is written on there, written on the glass, because that's a different version before him.
Who do you think was talking to him? I assumed it was Reverse Flash.
Reverse Flash, but I was thinking it was possibly himself, a different version of himself.
Okay. In repercussions of Flashpoint.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So potentially before he gets powers.
All right. Are we assuming Barry has speed still?
I'm assuming that Barry has some speed.
Okay.
The reason I say some speed, because he had some up until the point where he had to unlock the cage to let out Reverse Flash.
Right.
And he's weakened because he's connected to Wally, and that's why Wally wasn't healing.
That's what I was wondering too.
Now, when he went back, did it potentially reset Barry's powers?
I hope they don't play that
because at
angle.
that point, it didn't happen.
Right.
They could say it didn't happen yet.
Right.
So basically when they went from here and went back to this point, because they went back, because it was from the, for lack of a better term, Reverse Flash's point of view.
Right.
That's why this still happens, but there's tweak.
Okay.
So it's within the same timeline, but there's a tweak to it.
Some tweaks, yeah.
And one of the tweaks could be Barry with no power.
And you know what? I still think like it was kind of weird because why did Reverse Flash know there were some? Like everything was okay. Like you said, there were tweaks,
that makes perfect sense.
He tweaked it in his favor a bit. So I still think we're in a form of Flashpoint, just not
just not from Barry's point of view.
Right now we're in Reverse Flash's Flashpoint.
Reverse Flash's point of view of Flashpoint.
Right.
And the reason I'm thinking that it could deal with his power or lack of is because, why would Reverse Flash know all this? Well, how many times has he been trying to go back, split time, so he could basically redo or undo what had happened, so he can get the upper hand on the Flash eventually, right?
Right.
Because remember, he's the one that taught Barry, or basically Wells was, but him turned into Wells, about time displacement, making a second version of yourself.
Right.
Okay. All of that is dealing with.
We know there's at some points in time, Reverse Flash. He knows he can't kill young Barry anyways, because without young Barry, he will never become obtain the Speed Force and all that other stuff.
In the original timeline.
So
let's tweak timeline. We could chalk it up and say it doesn't matter anymore.
No, because if Flash is never created, then future Edward Thawne never learns of how to tap into the Speed Force.
Unless he does it through another person. Instead of Barry. Now, it sounds complicated because
I kind of get it.
Timelines of things
it's always
but
like that.
That's a really good way to torture your hero. You've gone back, given him what he wanted in the beginning with a tweak. It's like the genie effect.
I kind of get it.
He asks the genie for a wish, but he takes it to the next level.
Right.
And he takes your power gives it to someone else, and you're powerless to stop them.
All right. Well, let's get in. Let's go ahead and get into the actual episode itself.
Sure.
How did you feel about it?
I liked it.
Overall.
I
I
liked it.
thought it was a pretty strong season.
It's a pretty
premiere.
strong season premiere.
I had some problems with it.
Did kind of try to clean up a few issues and introduce a few different points of view from the other characters.
Right.
I like that. Like with Wally. Wally's character was a lot stronger, had a lot stronger presence in this version than he did towards the end of the last
Okay,
season.
however, what I will say about this, and this was actually one of my biggest problems was with the episode, was there some things I was like, okay, I can ride through this, okay, it's a little weird, but okay, let me just see where it goes.
Right.
But in certain points I was like, okay, Joe West, okay, let me just ride this one out. But the one problem I did have was Wally's
cockiness?
No, exposition of his powers. Because I wasn't.
It felt too flat.
Yeah, it felt so flat that I thought it was a joke. I thought he was just playing around. Like I thought suddenly
I was messing around with some nitrous
Right.
because I was doing street racing, got struck
Right.
by lightning, and then poof, I had
Yeah,
power.
so just the way his delivery almost seemed like it almost looked like Grant was gonna be like, oh, really? He's like, no, dude, I'm kidding. I got hit by lightning, or something like that. Just the way that delivery made me believe that it was all a joke. Like that. And then they kept on going through with it. I'm like, what? And then they started suddenly all working together. Just that particular scene, I felt they were on their last day. They were like on a deadline or something like that. And like
basically a pickup scene.
It just
like
didn't,
it wasn't originally in the script, and there was a pickup scene, and they just threw it in at the last minute.
or just something like they just didn't have time to do a reshoot to make it feel more believable or something. For something as imperative as them working together to learn to work together, and the first time they meet each other, I was like, this scene got thrown together really quickly. It was kind of like, you're the Flash, oh, okay, cool.
It sounds a lot like, or very similar to the New 52 comic book version where there's a character named Turbine. He gets his power like that.
I mean, I'm fine with
him getting the power. It's just the way he explained it.
Right. For everything, and as well as the Flash writers do in terms of explaining timelines and how they do the whole board thing, just that one scene was like, wait, that's exactly, like, you're going to give us that exposition in a very underwhelming, very nonchalant, underwhelming development. Like, if anything, they probably should have just had Iris deliver that line instead. Wally running on a treadmill or something like that to like train, and then Iris is the one that delivers that. I just felt like that scene was really weak coming from that particular actor. So I thought that was really strange for me on that side.
I will say he's got the entire season to make up for it.
I hope so. He better get better real soon.
He's got potential. It's just finding that chemistry and getting used to the gang of characters. Maybe,
maybe he just is on a show where, like, Honest Trailers mentioned this, like, maybe if this was a teen drama or something, but when you're on a show with really caliber actors such as the guy who plays Joe West and John Wesley Shipp, I think, the Reverse Flash, I thought this was his best
performance
ever on the show, like, so far. And we didn't even get, Wells isn't even got, this dude isn't even in the show yet. No. So when you're on a show like that with that, it's kind of, I think it's easier to spot people that are still trying, kind of up and coming and such like that. Fair enough on that side. I like the rival. It wasn't as corny as I thought it was going to be. I liked what he was doing there. I like when he was screaming. Like they had the vibration to that
in his voice,
and there was some sort of character I thought he was kind of acting like when he was talking, and he was doing his head like that a lot. Like, it reminded me of another DC hero for some reason, like or some villain or some other DC movie I've seen before, where when he was talking and he was like, you, like, I don't know, he's doing something. I can't get it.
Know who the character is.
I can't get it out of my head, but it was just like, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this in a Marvel movie or something before, of like, I don't know. But that beside the point, I did like what the rival brought to the table. He created 2 F3 hurricanes, or tornadoes. I thought I was going to cringe a lot more at Cisco's situation, but it actually worked out fairly well. I thought that worked out really well. Even the inclusion of Caitlin as an optometrologist or something.
An ophthalmologist, I thought that was pretty cool. I like how they had her there, and she had a unique way of seeing how things should be taken care of.
Right. And she still thought she was like a prisoner or something like that. It was pretty clever. Like for what they had to deal with, because time travel was very difficult to explain, and especially for a season premiere, I thought, and especially the fact that they wrapped this up in some relatively speaking,
potentially 1 episode.
Wrapped it up in 1 episode. This was handled very well.
I liked how they filmed it. I like how they gave Joe slightly a darker side. Yeah. The only downside to that is why.
I was wondering about this as well. Like, why did you just shoot this man? Like, what the hell does this have to do with anything? And then we're not, as far as I can tell, we're not going to get the answer to why Joe was the way he was.
Or we are going to get the answer because basically Zoom just took Barry back far enough to watch his mom die again, but
reverse Flash, essentially.
Sorry. And he basically has to watch everything happen as if there's no change.
The one thing, and here's the one thing though, I don't want to see happen so much. I don't want them to keep going back to that fixed point, because it's starting to get like there was a meme
like this.
Yeah, no, there's a meme that I saw and such that they were saying like on the season 8 of The Flash, and it was showing like 5 Barrys in that one room. And I feel like
trying to decide who should save her.
Right. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the question of the video. So in this season premiere of The Flash, season 3, we saw Barry travel back in time, or we saw it in season 2 as well. But we saw the fact that Barry was very, very happy in this particular Flashpoint for the most part of the show, even with Reverse Flash's constant warnings. He was like, I don't care. I'm really happy. I have everything I want in my life. However, as this
takes in him slowly being depowered as well.
Yeah, even with that, he was satisfied for the most part. Yeah. There was a Flash out there. He had everything he wanted, and there was even another protector of the city to do the job that he once did. Right. And it seemed like he was considering, all things considered, he was okay with that. And we saw Barry in a place we've never seen before, very content with his life. And even though minor things were becoming a problem, he still seemed very content. And it left me with a very interesting moral dilemma for the common person. Right. And that is, if you have found the better life, would you keep it? And regardless of other people getting hurt, because it seems like no matter what timeline Barry's in, somebody gets hurt, somebody dies, and there's sacrifices that need to be made. But overall, if this was a little more selfish Barry, he would have been like, well, I still have my mother and I still have my father. Joe is still alive. Wally may or may not have borderline, but he has Iris. In some form or fashion, Barry is still doing better in Flashpoint.
He is. Unfortunately.
Right. And so that kind of begs the difference to see, like, if he had
would they choose kind of thing?
Yeah, would he let Wally die? I mean, Wally wasn't all the way dead there.
Wally wasn't all the way dead, but Barry being there is the reason why Wally couldn't heal.
We're assuming that one about sharing the Speed Force,
because they're
right?
tapped into the Speed Force. That happens even in the comic book now,
right?
Where you have characters.
We're assuming that, but TV show wise, that they never really clearly explained that one, like why he's not healing and such. So
They did.
However, in season 2, they did kind of explain, like Jesse, when Barry touched, they got, sometimes you just feel it. But okay, getting back to the question of the video though, if this were you, let's just say in your own, if you had everything you ever wanted, you know, would you keep that timeline? And more, what I want to say is, would you keep that timeline? And voluntarily letting your old life slip from your memories, because that was the big issue. I think that's what the driving force was with Barry, is that he didn't want to forget everything from his original timeline.
No, but here the question, since you're posing it to me or the viewers, is what am I giving up that's not just like a memory?
Right.
What am I giving up? That is what would make me make the decision.
I think it's a very big decision, because it begs the question, is it
what's
your memories?
More important, your memories and your past life, or the memories that you could make from that point on.
And not just that, but like the memories, it's your experience that makes you the character you are. And so if you lose that experience, if you lose those memories, that Barry or anybody will turn into a different person gradually over time.
True, but think about people who suffer from memory loss from like a traumatic accident.
Right.
They feel broken.
Right.
And it's like, well, where do you go from now? And it's always I'm not the same person I used to be. But the people that really, really love and support them, it's like, we understand that. You can't get that back, but you know what? You can start trying to build on who you can be from this point on. So there, what's more important?
Well, you leave an interesting posing question about that feeling. Even Iris mentioned it in the show. She's always felt a little broken, or like something wasn't right
until Barry was there.
So
because you're looking at Iris and her brother don't have their mom there.
Right.
For whatever reason it is in that timeline.
Right.
But in the previous timeline, because of drug abuse and some other stuff. Okay. Well, that left the family pretty much broken, so it's just Iris and her dad. In this case, it's Iris and her brother. Her dad seems estranged, but the mom, still, where is she? Is she passed? Do they know her? They have a good relationship with her? She just lives in another city? What's going on? Her not being there could be a reason why she feels broken. There's a piece missing.
Right.
Barry showing up is that piece that should be there, especially since their father isn't.
Right. Or, like she said, it's just love, I guess.
Yeah.
Like.
And I liked that scene. I like how she delivered.
No, I thought that was very well done. Well, and speaking of scenes, I also feel like that's it's what Reverse Flash was kind of saying, was like they really hate each other. Barry hates him, he hates Barry, but I think Reverse Flash, or Edward, is the only one that's somewhat experienced or mature enough to realize that he may not be right. And he doesn't really know if he's right or wrong. They just know that both of them are very stubborn for what they're trying to do. So
for the most part, both of them are stuck in a gray area.
Yes.
No one can be completely right, because every time you go back, something changes.
Correct.
And every time you change something, there's a trickle effect.
It's very, I don't know, because, and here's the other thing I was going to argue about that, especially with the question of video in mind, is who's to say Barry's wrong in some sense? Because Barry, if I look at it in a point of view of Barry's life, just like in my own life, like from my own head, this is my world. This is my studio. This is my channel. Right. Every action I'm taking really only concerns, it might concern other people, but it really only directly affects me and what I do. And so when I think about it in that tone of Barry's life, where Barry is headed, whatever he's wanting to do, maybe he should just do it because it's his life. In that, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, he's getting his happiness. So if he has the opportunity to take it,
that's basically what everybody wants. They want happiness for themselves, the pursuit of happiness. So it's like, okay, what is it that I need to do to achieve that? Okay, I'm making the hard decision of going back in time and changing the timeline, but in retrospect, all these horrible things will have never happened. Right. Something horrible may happen, but who's to say that that's my fault?
Exactly.
And that's a really hard
It's
pill to swallow.
I thought they handled.
Sounds so
no, I
selfish,
thought they handled
but so smart at the same time.
I thought they handled that very well because at least in season 1 with the tsunami, the first time ever,
that was horrible.
But the first time ever he did it, there was something like, okay, this is really bad, this is worse. And they actually played around with the idea that, Wells, Eberthon Wells, was saying, like, time has a way of correcting itself, and what you might think is bad now is even worse later. Worse. But this version...
It's like saving someone that was supposed to die, and they still die, but they die in a more horrific way.
But in this version, what I saw for this season premiere was... It wasn't so bad. What was the bad things that were going on that we were exposed to? It wasn't so bad. Wally wasn't dead, and
Wally wasn't dead. But for me, that was definitely the breaking point because he's got the Speed Force, or should. He's got the power. It's not healing. Why? And the only thing that you can really relate it to, that you would understand as a character at that point in time, would be Speed Force.
Well, maybe they didn't like earlier in the exposition of Wally's powers. Maybe it wasn't played off strong enough then, because I see what you're saying and I see where you're coming from, but I feel like in that scene they didn't play it off enough. And like they said, I don't know why he's not healing, but they didn't play it off enough as like, well, he's not healing because you're here, basically. Like, we're just making these assumptions based on our knowledge of the Speed Force and what
Speed Force, not just from the comic books, but also from watching this, but thinking that's one possible answer. But
what I personally feel is he made more of the decision based on the fact that he's losing the memories of
Iris. Not just Iris, but losing the memories of Iris and his family and people that he's grown to love and respect. He's losing all those memories.
I think if in itself, like you said, he's losing the memories of what has happened, but more importantly, he's losing the memories of what made him the person he is today. And I think that's what's more important for him.
Which is something he should have thought about before in the first place. Because I look at Barry has two potential anchors.
Joe and...
Nope. No. His mom being the first, and she was basically the catalyst for everything else happening. But the biggest anchor in his life is Iris.
Okay.
Iris is, if you look at everything that happens, anything revolving Iris, she's basically like that beacon of hope, that bug in the ear, the thing that gets him just like, she's right. I need to get my crap together and do this. Or if I do this, I can save her. Because it always comes down to two particular women in his life, his mom or Iris. And Iris is pretty much the strongest anchor that he has, more to this timeline than anything else. Because in every single version of Barry, Iris is there in one form or another. His mom, not his mom.
Alright, look, and now I'm thinking about something. You just jogged something in my mind here about something Joe said at the end.
Many running puns.
He's chalking it up to grief. You know what? Yeah. We get on Barry because of why he ran back in time. However, now that I think about it, we could chalk that up to grief as well. And the fact that he ran back in time to, like, he was just grieving. He didn't know what he was doing. Like, he wasn't thinking clearly. So, right? You wouldn't give that up, because Joe did say that, like, I'm gonna chalk that up to grief about something non-related, but I'm just thinking about it right now. It's like, yeah, he did lose his father. He lost everything in his mind at that time. He just wasn't thinking clearly.
No, but
and he had the power to do it.
That's another thing. So for the superhero, or for Barry, to not be thinking clearly every time something tragic happens, does he go back and try and change it? And if so, does he remain the hero, or does he become a villain? Because he is literally putting people's lives in danger by doing it. And the reason that bugs me, I understand he's grieving, but he's been warned by how many people about doing that up until that point. It's hard. And that's where we go back to the question of the video. Right. What would you do?
What would you
do? Grieving, understandable, but still a little too selfish.
It's a very tricky situation. Like,
it is. It feels selfish. I don't mean to sound cold or heartless, because I understand him losing his family. It's hard, but him being the focus of the show and the hero, he is kind of putting other people's lives at danger. Which is another reason why Reverse Flash is like, who's the villain now?
Right.
Even if you watch the animated version of Flashpoint, he says the same thing. Because when he goes back to save his mom, all hell breaks loose.
Okay, bonus question for all of you guys.
Cha-chang.
Would you guys go back in time to save a loved one? Actually, I'm surprised. I'm surprised I've actually never asked that on this particular show, because I always felt like,
you would.
Or you would, or I always felt like, something bad is going to happen. Time has a way of reversing itself. But this season premiere, for me, just showed that maybe it's good, maybe something's not so bad. Like, I think, you know what, if I were Barry, I probably would have stuck with this new timeline, because he was getting everything he wanted. He may not be the hero, but
he'd be forgetting himself.
Right,
and forgetting himself, I don't mean by power.
But,
I mean
who
he really is.
Like, yeah, but maybe
who he is, like literally. Forget the moral compass.
Okay.
Losing all memories. Like, he would be a little clean slate.
Well, he would shift into the new timeline.
He would shift into the new timeline, but that shift would clear all memories, including of his parents, all of his experience from childhood, himself,
previous
the whole nine.
Timeline.
No, altogether.
No. He would shift into the new timeline and have new memories.
Reverse Flash is saying.
But that's what Flash.
Knows.
But that's what Flashpoint was.
Shit.
Okay, there we go. We're back. New camera. Battery died on the other one. We're gonna try to wrap this up, but like we were just saying, he was asking me really if I would stay. If I were Barry, I would have stayed in that, because that's timeline.
Is what he really wanted.
That's what he wanted. That's what he since season 1. That's what he always wanted. He had everything he ever wanted. Something even Wells was kind of saying, I gave you everything you ever wanted, like that. And his parents are alive. He was potentially getting ready to fuck Iris every sweet black pudding day. Just saying. Like, it's all there. But the other point we will make, playing the devil's advocate here on the other side, was the fact that, if you could go back in time personally, on a personal level, if you go back in time and change something to be able to save a loved one, but you, by doing that, knowing that you involuntarily could end up murdering someone else, right? That's a hard thing to live with.
Yeah, because I mean, if you go back in time to save someone that you love, and by doing that, you have literally put someone else's life in danger and pretty much killed them. Can you live with that choice?
Right.
And it's
That's
like,
involuntary
manslaughter. If you can live with that choice, then all right, fine. But if you can't, what is it that stops you from making that choice?
And not to mention the fucking time race.
Something that wasn't.
Yeah, that is very true. Time rapes are gonna be pissed with Barry.
And maybe that's why Reverse Flash is like,
that is a very good question. I'm very curious what's up. This is a good, very well done, good start to the new season.
Yeah, because
I don't even remember
so many questions and so many answers that need questions. Like even on the basic level we were talking about earlier, Joe. Why is Joe an alcoholic? Why is he so broken in that version?
All right, Red Nation, stand up, speak up. Let us know what you think about all of this, especially the question of the day. This was probably one of the best season premieres I have seen in a very long time, because it is thought-provoking. There's lots of shades of gray. I haven't seen these many, like, I would say lighthearted shades of gray since Game of Thrones. And Game of Thrones obviously is a very dark shades of gray sort of thing, but this played around a lot with more lighthearted shades of gray. It was very well done.
Personal and
if you like what you saw here, please make sure you hit like, subscribe, share. I promise you very much lots of discussions on the Akasan channel. And of course, check out DC-san on his channel here. He's got a lot of other good stuff. Guys, 100,000 subscribers. We did it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for all your dedicated responses and comments and support my speedsters.
Thank you for supporting.
Next week, the next episode of The Flash, we'll be back.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow.